grandparents on my mother's side moved from Pennsylvania to West Liberty in, I think, 1918.
Okay.
And after a couple of years, they ended up on the cemetery farm and lived there for several years. And I can remember my mother talking about bringing cream into West Liberty, and I think where the Shell Mart is now is where, in some of the old pictures, the old postcards,
Mm-hmm.
you can see some 5-gallon cream cans, and I think that's probably where she brought cream into West Liberty.
Okay.
And I can remember her talking about the interurban tracks that turned onto Columbus and went west out Columbus Street from Detroit. And there was always, she used a pony cart to bring this cream in. Well, she always went on because she said there were always a bunch of old men on a bench out in front of what I knew as Ross McElveen's barbershop,
Mm-hmm.
which is where Liberty Chiropractic is now.
Okay.
And she would have, the pony would not cross those tracks. And she'd have to get out of the cart and drag the pony across the tracks to go on north, to go back out. I think it was going north. I'm not sure which direction, probably both directions.
Yeah, sure.
But to go on up, to go out to 508. And so that was kind of a memory that was brought back to me in talking about parents and so forth. And then that was the Graham family, and my grandfather, somewhere in the late 20s, I believe, bought what we knew as Hillcrest Dairy out east of Bellefontaine, and they had milk routes into Bellefontaine and so forth. And my father grew up at Mount Sterling, Ohio. Well, he grew up south of Columbus, but on the Hartman farm south of Columbus. Then he had lived at Mount Sterling and moved from Mount Sterling in 1924 to what we knew as the Valerie Farm, which is out east of West Liberty.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea of maple syrup comes back to me because that farm had some sugar woods, as Dad called them, maple trees.
Yeah.
And so he made maple syrup for about 2 years. And I can remember him talking about somebody else out there making maple syrup too late after the buds started coming out, and that gave a flavor to the maple syrup. And I was talking earlier about Jeff Boyd and the maple syrup, and I was hoping that our spring earlier at 70 degrees and so forth didn't cut off the maple syrup season for him, because we purchased maple syrup from him and so forth and really enjoy it. But back to parents, my father ended up having falling out with the owner of the farm out east of West Liberty and moved up on County Road 10 out of Bellefontaine. And while he was up there, I think he and my mother knew each other at that point, because the farm that I was talking about, Hillcrest Dairy, was just a mile and a half or so away from where my father lived for a year.
Okay.
And then he moved down on McLean Road, actually 47, right before the McLean Road, and lived there, and his first wife passed away. And I had two half brothers, two half sisters. And he moved to what we always referred to as the Yoder place, which was the only farm on Ricketts Road. And that's where he and my mother got together, were married, and then I grew up there on Ricketts Road. And some of the memories I have from there are of, I just looked up before I left home, the Snow Bowl, 1950. Well, we like I say, I lived out there on Ricketts Road. It was at the end of Monroe Township, so there wasn't a lot of traffic through the road, so we ended up hooking a trailer up. That's how my father got feed ground at Craig's Elevator, a trailer behind a car that came in and got feed ground. So we had a Farm OH, and my dad hooked the trailer up to the Farm OH. We went down the road a little ways. There was a gateway into a field on a neighbor's place across on the north side of the road, and we went through that field and over, I don't know if you know where Larry Reed lives,
Yeah.
came out where Larry Reed lives, and came into town to what was then Liberty Gas, Oil and Gas's bulk plant, where there's now, I think, a Wilgus's Automotive there, catty corner across from Holder Brothers. So we brought our milk into town for about a week before the roads got cleared for the milk truck to be able to come and pick up our milk. So I thought that was a thing of interest to me.
Sure.
Another kind of sidelight story, talking about the youngest half brother went in the Navy in 1944, right after he graduated from high school. And my father had a Farmall regular tractor, and I would have been about 5 at this time, because I was born in 39. Had a Farmall regular tractor that he wanted to put on rubber tires. He couldn't get rubber tires for that tractor because of rationing during the war, but he could trade it for a new Farmall H on rubber. And so we have pictures of my half-brother, Junior, in his dress whites, and had a brother-in-law, Bill Maxson from Bell Fountain, who went in Army or Navy at the same time. So we had pictures of both of them on that new Farmall H, and probably July, whenever they got done with boot camp, I'm sure, in their dress whites, driving that Farmall H.
Wow.
So,
That's
memories.
special. Yeah, that's special.
Yeah.